Ever wonder what it would cost to hire a guy to just destroy everything? We're talking about a walking, talking demolition crew who doesn't even ask for a paycheck. Just a few beers and a place to sleep. Well, today we're gonna find out. Welcome to our new series where we calculate the financial debt left behind by the most chaotic characters. And to kick things off, we had to start with the CEO of Mayhem himself. The one, the only, BENDER Bending Rodriguez. This guy isn't just a robot. He's a one-man behind economic recession wrapped in a shiny metal chassis. He's a big walking bill. So let's grab our calculators and figure out exactly how much this shiny metal robot has cost the universe. The final total is gonna be absolutely unbelievable. Let's get straight into it. The number one target on Bender's hit list is the very city he calls home, New York. Now, most people see a city as a place to live, to work, to get a slice of pizza. Bender sees it as a giant, shiny playground. And he's about as careful as a bull in a futuristic china shop. I mean, the guy's an expert at his job. He's been bending girders since before he was born.
I'm a bender. I bend girders. That's all I'm programmed to do.
And that skill set comes in handy when you're looking to wreak some havoc. Remember that time he had to bend an unbendable girder just to prove his love for a fembot? He didn't just bend the girder. He even bent a whole chunk of the city with it. We're talking about a whole block of buildings. Probably some small businesses that were just trying to sell some slurm. All because he had to prove a point. A very stupid point, but a point nonetheless. That's a good old-fashioned structural failure. And in a city as dense as New York, that's not cheap. We'll assign a nice round $800 million just for that little incident. And that's for just one little love spat. Now what about when he's just doing his own thing? Like in Bender's Big Score. When he's on the run from the Swedish robot mafia, he basically turns the city into a giant pinball machine. With him as the ball, we're talking crushed hover cars, shattered streetlights, and a traffic jam that probably lasted for years. Let's tally up the toll in the streets. We've got hundreds of hover cars, each costing maybe $150,000 a pop. That's a cool $30 million right there. Add in the cost of repairing the city streets themselves, the broken streetlights, the bent traffic signs. Let's call that another $20 million. But the damage doesn't stop at the street level. Bender's a city-wide menace. In the episode, the mutants are revolting. When he leads a robot mutiny, he marches right through the city, smashing and stomping anything that gets in his way. We're talking crushed robocabs, demolished public phone booths, and the sheer labor cost of 1,000 sanitation robots trying to clean up the mess. That mutiny alone probably cost the city an easy $75 million in repair and cleanup. Then you have to consider the public infrastructure he's destroyed. The pneumatic tube system, a marvel of 21st century engineering, and a target for Bender schemes. How many times has he caused an explosion in the tube system, shutting down public transit for weeks? Let's say each major incident cost a modest $10 million in repairs and another $50 million in lost productivity for the city. And that's a frequent occurrence. Let's add in the cumulative cost of his smaller everyday damages. We'll conservatively estimate that he causes at least $100,000 in damage every single day. Multiply that by his lifespan and we're talking an almost incomprehensible amount. We won't even put that on the counter yet. We'll save it for the final tally. And ironically enough, this is just his part-time job. We haven't even gotten to his full-time career of being a jerk. The Planet Express ship is a marvel of engineering, right? But to Bender, it's just a toy he gets to break on a daily basis. He's used it as a battering ram, a getaway car, and a personal toilet. The repair bills must be astronomical. I mean, this thing has been crashed, shot at, and even flown into the sun just because Bender wanted to win a stupid bet. A ship like that probably cost, I don't know, $1 billion? And with all the fixes? We're looking at a bill of about $250 million for just a single major repair. And that happens more than once. But it's not just for the Planet Express ship. Bender has a special knack for destroying any vehicle he gets his hands on. Remember when he went on that cross-country road trip with Fry? He totaled a brand new hover car, leaving it in a smoking heap of metal. We'll add a cool $150,000 for that one. And also, let's talk about his utter lack of respect for authority. He's not just a criminal, he's an anti-authoritarian icon. He's used an entire fleet of military robots and tanks as his personal playthings, causing more friendly fire damage than an actual war. He's a menace. And military equipment? That stuff isn't cheap. One fighter jet is hundreds of millions of dollars. How many of those has he single-handedly destroyed? Well, conservatively estimate that his military-grade antics have cost a total of $1.5 billion in damaged or destroyed equipment. And don't forget the time he was a supervillain in the episode Bender's Game. He built a fortress of destruction in the scrapyard, launching missiles and causing all sorts of chaos for the military. We'll say the cost of the missiles alone plus the military response is another $500 million. The guy has probably spent more on destroying military hardware than some countries spent on their entire defense budget. We've calculated the public costs, but what about the personal ones? Many costs Bender has collected often go unnoticed because they don't seem relevant enough. How about the sheer amount of money the Planet Express crew has lost thanks to Bender is in a league of his own? Let us start with Fry, the poor schmuck who has to live with him. Can you remember many times Bender has wrecked Fry's apartment? He's probably caused tens of thousands of dollars in damage just from leaving his beer cans and cigar butts everywhere. We'll set up a running tab for Fry's destroyed property at $25,000 a year. And over the course of the show, that adds up pretty quickly. Then there's the cost of his scams. Bender isn't just a destroyer. He's also a professional con artist. He scammed the mob, he scammed the public, he's even scammed his friends. He sold fake products, stolen millions in cash, and caused financial ruin for countless victims. Just the cost of his illegal ventures, the resources spent on tracking him down, and the legal fees. That's got to be a gigantic sum. We'll add an estimate of $1 billion for the damage he's done to the the intergalactic economy. And finally, let's talk about the cost of his environmental damage. Since Bender also happens to be a walking pollution machine, he constantly smokes cigars, which are a major source of pollution. Not just that, he also once tried to pollute the ocean with a giant garbage ball. And he was also a major contributor to the second worst global warming incident in history. We'll assign $500 million to the cost of his environmental negligence. But let's not forget the little things. The tiny petty acts of destruction that add up over time. The thousands of times he's used his lighter to cause minor explosions. The countless soda machines he's kicked over because he didn't get his drink. The sheer cost of cleaning up after his parties. It's all part of the bill. It's the cost of having a friend who's a menace to society. We've calculated the cost of the skyscrapers, the spaceships, and the military equipment. Now let's add it all up. We start with $800 million from his urban damages. We add on $50 million from the street chaos, another $75 million for his mutiny, and $60 million for his destruction of the tube system. We add the $250 million for all the damage to the Planet Express ship. We can't forget about his grudge against the military, which has cost a staggering $1.5 billion, plus the $500 million from his supervillain antics. We also have to add in the cost of the $150,000 for the totaled hover car, the $1 billion from his scams, and the $500 million from his environmental damage. After tallying up the sheer amount of destruction he has caused, the final total is a whopping $4.74 billion. That's so much money, it doesn't even make sense. It's a number so big, the universe basically just shrugged and gave up trying to collect it. Bender's debt is so immense, it's basically a new form of zero. The cost of collecting his debt would bankrupt the entire galactic economy, so they just let him be. It turns out the greatest financial crime isn't to take a lot of money, it's to owe an amount so astronomical that everyone else just gives up trying. So, there you have it. That's Bender for you. Billions in damage, and somehow he still manages to kick back with a cigar and a beer like nothing ever happened. At this point, his debt is so massive that no one could ever really pay it back. It's beyond numbers. It's just Bender being Bender. Maybe that's a joke. While the rest of us stress about rent and bills, he's out there casually owing the entire universe while having the time of his life.